time to time you go around different forums, and just 2 weeks ago I was with a group of elementary school children, and they bring them all into the media center, and they do youth and government in the 4th grade. So it was Maryland Government Day, and I got there and I had a cute little girl named Ann introduced me to about 80 of her students and 5 or 6 teachers, and the principal was all there, and she stood up very proudly and said, I'd like to introduce Mr. Mike Busch. For the last 24 years has been in the Maryland House of Corrections. And Ann was very proud of herself, but the teacher got all excited and started saying, Ann, and she kind of looked over, a little, befuddled, and turned around, smiled again, and said, "Oh yes, he's the leader of the Maryland House of Corrections." I do want to acknowledge Sandy Rosenberg and Steve Lafferty, who've done a wonderful job in the Maryland General Assembly. And, without them, we wouldn't accomplish the things we did this year. Sandy and the Judiciary Committee, we had all the sexual predator legislation after the incident on the Eastern Shore. It was very contentious, and Sandy shepherded that through as vice chairman of the committee. And Steve did a great job. He's a land use planner by profession with Howard County. And on the tough issues of dealing with the Chesapeake Bay critical areas and the use of septics and land use around the Bay, we couldn't do what we do in Annapolis without Steve, so he's done a great job. And Dolores Kelly, who's always been a champion in both the House and the Senate for the issues of the business community and insurance, and she deals with all the business issues of the state and does a wonderful job. In Annapolis, we've had a wonderful 4 years, quite candidly, despite all the challenges, and there's a tremendous amount of challenges in the country right now, and they go down to the state level, particularly with the collapse of the stock market and financial institutions. But in the state, we've been able, as far as I'm concerned, to be able to manage and identify our priorities and try to fund them with the resources that we have. And I say that because, everybody talks about politics like you don't have a plan. And I think over the last 4 years, under the leadership of Governor O'Malley, the President of the Senate, members of the House and the Senate, we've laid out a direction that we wanted to take for the citizens of Maryland. And first and foremost, we wanted to fund education. Less than $13 billion in the general fund budget of the state. $5.7 billion of that goes directly to K-12 education, comes back to the counties and the city of Baltimore. And for 2 years in a row now, we've been selected by the Education Review, the people that do reviews all the state, as the #1 K-12 educational system in the country. And I think that's a great achievement. And believe me, there's 49 other speakers of the House in the country that would like to be up there saying that this morning. But I'm the only one that can do it, and Governor O'Malley is the only governor that can do it. But it's important because we believe the path to a vibrant economy and a vibrant future is a well-educated workforce. And, it starts with K-12 education, and it goes through your community college, it goes through your 4-year institutions. We contribute $1.4 billion to our higher education system, whether it's the public universities, whether it's the private colleges, whether it's community colleges. And let me just say that our community colleges are grown to where there's almost 130,000 students within the community college system of the state of Maryland. They have become much of the economic engine, and their growth in this recessionary time has been exponential. In Anne Arundel County, ours has grown 10%, our community college enrollment. It was previously selected as the #1 community college in the country about 3 years ago, and it's still one of the top 5 community colleges in the United States of America. We guarantee if you get a degree with a B average from a community college, you also get automatic entrance to one of our 4-year universities. And our 4-year university system is one that I think is to be envied by everyone. Now, when I graduated from high school in 1965, you could go to the University of Maryland and take your diploma over there on opening day of opening day of classes, and they would automatically enroll you. Today, it takes about $13.60 on your college boards and about a 3.6 cum to get into the University of Maryland. There's 27,000 applications for 4,000 spots. So it begs the question, where do the B students like Mike Busch go? I'll give myself credit for having B's years ago. They're at the community college, and they're at some of your other four-year universities. But it is much more competitive. But at the same time, we are producing the highest percentage of college graduates in the workforce and the highest percentage of postgraduates in the workforce. So we go out into this dynamic economy, which requires an educated workforce, which requires the businesses that center here that want a well-educated workforce and want to be able to retool. I think it's worth mentioning that our crime rate in the state is the lowest since 1975. And I think that's one of the highlights and hallmarks of Governor O'Malley's tenure in 4 years is the fact that he's been able to reduce crime throughout the state. And has done it in a methodology that really has targeted numerous different areas that have benefited. In the city of Annapolis, which many people think is Camelot by the Bay, and it is in many respects, but it also has the highest percentage of public housing of any city its size in the country. There was a lot of crime there. Through a grant and through the workings of his GoCop office, we have reduced crime in the city by 50%. That is a phenomenal achievement, and that's because people work together, use the resources properly to make that work. At the end of the session, we have balanced our budget. We're one of 7 states that still have a AAA bond rating. We have fully funded our K-12 education program. We have kept what I think a very vibrant higher education system in course with the constituencies of the state of Maryland. We have lowered the crime rate to its lowest level since 1975. We've insured 100,000 more people, mostly children, through our health care initiatives. And we've replaced the funds for all the shock trauma helicopters in the state of Maryland, as well as numerous environmental issues that have helped protect the Bay. So from a 4-year period of time, I believe that snapshot speaks volumes for where the state of Maryland is and where we want to go. Now, this election coming up, people will snipe at little things. But I think overall, if you went out there today and you compared the state of Maryland to the other 49 states, we'd be the New York Yankees. Not that I like New York Yankees, but we'd be at the top of the profession.